Batman One Dark Knight issue 2 by JOCK, who did both the writing and the art. So you went back and read issue 1 then, I assume, since you said
I
you
did
read this, yeah?
Yeah. So the first one, when this first came out, it was a time thing. I had a very busy week, and I just couldn't fit in a big, heavy page count book. But then once I started reading it, it is a showcase for JOCK to do these big panels and whatever. So it does read fairly quick. So,
yeah, for its 50-page count, it is a quicker read. I really liked issue. I love the premise. I love what it set up. I thought it was a really good time.
Yep.
Obviously, it's been like 3 months since the last issue.
I forgot some things. I forgot that the main villain's initials are actually EMP. Until this issue.
I forgot some details, but credit to the simple premise that I did remember. Villain went, EMP and took out the power. Batman has to transport him to Blackgate, and all the gangs are on the streets, wanting them for various reasons. I remembered all that. It was a little foggy on the woman who's actually the sort of the villain, sort of pulling the strings, and the kid, the Brody. That stuff I didn't remember right away, but it came back to me quite quickly once it was getting into it and talking about it. So, yeah, I will say I like this issue quite a bit as well. I think this one versus the first issue, this one did feel like it was maybe spinning its wheels a little here or there. There's maybe one or two too many pages of Batman monologuing about the city as we see the map, but it still had some big set piece moments. I still love the Warriors-esque stuff of all the gangs coming for him. That's really good stuff. And
Batman looking at their weaknesses, for what they do. So like EMP's gang is actually called the Tasers, and they carry tasers, but there's no electricity, right? Because EMP's sucking all the energy from it, so they go to tase him, and it doesn't work, and he just beats the ever-living piss out of that guy. That was pretty funny. But it's at its best when there's less dialogue, which, JOCK, for all his strengths as an artist, writing still has to be worked out, I think, a little.
I think his Batman narration's fine. I think it adds a nice atmosphere. And I enjoy when it sets up the other stuff, like, this Vasquez woman leaves Montoya in the car wreck to be killed, or whatever the gang's going to do to her. Let's not speculate too much. But obviously all the art is fantastic. The pages of the city streets and the gangs forming, and it's all very muted blues and whites, so when there's like fire or blood, it really pops and sticks out.
Even Batman's cowl gets a bluish tinge to it, which I like. And then I remember there's a scene that happens at it's 2:51 a.m. and there's this slightly blue haze over the city, which is if you've ever driven close to a big city at night, you just get that light pollution vibe, and just nails it throughout this whole book.
So Batman's carrying this EMP guy who eventually does wake up, and he's actually quite apologetic, of course. He's like, I don't want to, when I went boom unintentionally, I fried the brains of children and families, and that was not something that he actually wanted to do.
Right.
But so there's this kid, and the kid was teased towards the end of the last issue, this Brody kid, but it's actually EMP's son, although the kid doesn't know that his father's EMP.
Right.
He thinks it's just this other guy's in the gang.
Yeah, because the mom died, right? And so it seems like Vasquez has taken a interest in this kid, because she seems familiar with him more than he's familiar with her.
Yeah, and it sounds like Vasquez lost her family in the EMP stuff, and that's why she's got such a vested interest in all this.
She's orchestrated this, yeah.
But she's after the kid, and the kid's running around, and she eventually gets to him and actually has a small EMP blast himself. So clearly he has similar powers. Yeah. Maybe not on the same scale yet, but she wants to use them clearly to fight EMP.
Yeah. And it's also super grotesque when they give out that EMP. You see his eyes start glowing.
Oh, yeah.
And then the face, and it seems like a huge event. And again, the strength of JOCK is through the art and through the nonverbal storytelling.
Oh, yeah. See the sequence in the middle where Batman and EMP are attacked by a gang on one of the rooftops? Mm-hmm. And there's he's having to hold on EMP over the side, but there's a guy trying to stab Batman, so he has to kick him over.
kicks him over, and he's still holding on to EMP.
Yeah, and they're on like old train tracks at this point, so like the gang starts pushing this old like railway car towards Batman. It's really visual, it's really big and but really moody at the same time because of the setting. Yeah. So they never sort of betray that feeling to it, which is really, really cool.
I feel like this story would make a great animated movie. You know?
Sure, yeah.
One Dark Knight, and they could try to do JOCK's style in the animation.
Yeah, and
that'd be real cool.
There's a bunch of corrupt cops who are asking or answering to Vasquez, and they are not intervening in the gangs and anything like that. They're keeping their nose out of it. So yeah, sure enough, like all this is bubbling up. The kid actually almost gets attacked by one of the gangs, and Batman like throws a batarang just on his way past because he's trying to get to the location on time. You know, he needs to get there.
And you see the kid that's in trouble, and does his thing, but we know it's him because of the red hoodie, which is a nice, other nice storytelling.
And that art when the EMP goes off as well, with the purple light coming, through the rooftops, really, really good stuff. It's beautiful. Yeah. So, I mean, we get to this point where she's got the kid. Batman sees this EMP go off, and he's like, "Shit, that's someone that's got powers like EMP." But I can't leave him and go and deal with this. The big thing here is that Batman mentions that he's running out of supplies, and Alfred's trying to communicate with them, but the communications are still down. But he finds the Batwing. The Batwing that he had in issue 1, he had it on autopilot, but it went down in the EMP blast. He's like, oh shit, great, there's supplies in there that I can, refill my belt on my journey. But it turns out it's a trap. A bunch of gangs have already are lying in wait and come after him. So we get barrels of fire being thrown at him. The gang grabs EMP and pulls him into the sewers. So it's and you can feel Batman's desperation. Like he was like 2/3 of the way there, but he's about to lose EMP. He really wanted to keep a hold of him. So you kind of feel this he's falling through his grasp kind of thing. But there's this really this really dark part where one of the gangs is up on the rooftops and they see the other gang down in the street and shit, they're sitting ducks. So that this gang throws down Molotovs into the other gang, and then they shoot at them, and it's really dark. Batman has to jump down the manhole to go after EMP as these guys are burning alive. There's not much you can do for them. It's a really dark page.
Yep.
Yeah. So honestly, if I have a critique, other than the fact that there's maybe just a little bit of wheel spinning to maybe add 5 or 6 pages, is that the cliffhanger is a bit weird. Where Batman goes into the sewers and goes, "It's dark down here," and he smiles and he's like, "I like it." That last line felt a bit off to me.
I thought it landed just because this is him in his element, right? That it's dark. And after everything he just went through in this issue, he's like, "Oh, okay, finally something comfortable."
Yeah, no, it makes sense. If anything, I don't know, maybe just the line of dialogue, the narration would have just worked better if it was something a little less, I don't know, abrupt. But I enjoyed this show a lot. I think it really is that one night through the city kind of action movie that the first issue promised me, and I'm really digging it so far.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that the end of issue 2, the end of Act 2 of 3, is the moment where he's going to lose the guy, because he's had him on him the whole time. So it makes sense that this is the part of the story where he's going to lose him and have to try and get him back.
And he's only a mile away from Blackgate.
Yeah, right? He's so close.
He's covered all this ground. He's almost there, and then shoot, down into the sewers we go. But yeah, I also like the fact that Bruce can't do a lot of thinking because EMP keeps shorting out his brain because of the synapses. So I like that little wrinkle too, that this is the reason he keeps getting into these messes, is he's almost running on his primal brain. So I like that as well.
Yeah, it's a cool touch. No, really, really good. It's a lot of fun. Connor was...
I'm glad I went back, and I'm glad this was on a smaller week.
Yeah.
Because once I started looking at everything, and I was like, oh yeah, and I'd already caught up on One Dark Knight a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh yeah, this is out this week too.
Yeah. So yeah, because Connor was a lot more down on issue 1, and I really liked issue 1.
Shock.
So I'm glad you're more into it, because
but I also have a deep Like the Warriors, I love that movie for all its flaws, and the fact that we're getting kind of a Warriors-esque vibe through Gotham, I really like that.
I like the concept of the Warriors. I don't think I liked the movie that much though when I saw it.
Oh no, the movie's not good. I feel like had I not seen it when I was like 11, like I wouldn't have I didn't pick up on a lot of the bad stuff. Watching it again as an adult, outside a few moments, but it is something that I do. Like you said, the concept I do like, but if it's on TV, very rarely I'll turn it on.
Sure.
But the fact that we're getting that concept kind of through Gotham City, and I mean, the map of Gotham is just basically New York. Like you start looking at the descriptions, it's really cool.
And I also really like that we set up the idea that the villain, or the EMP, I should say, is sympathetic and regrets what he's done.
Yeah.
But then we have the villain who's hunting him, who's like putting other people in harm's way to get to him, who has justifiable motivations perhaps, but is being far more villainous by how she's doing things. Like I like that dramatic like contrast between them. So we actually sympathize with the villain who is redemptive and wants to change and doesn't want to hurt people. So I like that character sort of difference between them. So yeah, all right. We giving Batman One Dark Knight issue 2?
I'm gonna give this one an 8.
Cool. I'm also gonna go with a straight 8. I think if it fixed those little problems that I had with it, I think it would have been higher. But obviously the art is
when
beautiful.
The art goes, it goes real hard. Like it's like those action sequences. That one with the silhouette where he's hanging over, holding onto him, then they start to push the train. Again, I want to see that in animation form.
Yeah,
like it really pops, and it feels like there's motion. Like Jock's really good at that, where it feels like there's motion even though it's just between panels.